It Chapter 2, in a word, is large. It's a film that believes primarily in going big, whether it's its bloated runtime, over-the-top acting, broad, out-of-place comedy, or its mostly oversized CGI beasties. It's unfortunate, too, since the film is most effective the few times it chooses to go with subtlety. It carries over the issues from the first film and adds a whole host of new ones. When the first film came out, it seemed like a good idea to separate the book's two time periods into two different films. It gave the story of a group of young outsiders coming together to bond over the trauma in their lives, namely a supernatural clown that eats kids, time to breathe. The second film had the potential to be about those outsiders reconnecting as adults over their trauma, namely a supernatural clown that eats people, and finally overcoming it. Yet, this sequel rushes them back to Derry, their hometown where the first film took place, but then spends little time on them reforging the bonds of friendship, and doesn't seem to know what to do with them instead. Almost as soon as they're back home, the film separates them again, sending them off on pointless side quests that only bloat the runtime and add nothing of value to the story. In an attempt to give these sections weight, they're intercut with flashbacks to previously unseen moments from the first film. But these just feel like a cheat, shoehorned in to include the younger characters the audience already has an emotional connection with. It's telling that none of the events of the film's second act prove at all relevant to its finale. Those events are further undermined by a vein of comedy that feels wholly out of place. That the world around the main characters doesn't respond to them in a believable manner doesn't help either. They scream at children and act like lunatics without consequence. All this undercuts any gravitas the film might have built up by the time it reaches its finale, which is just as bloated and nonsensical as one you'd find in any mindless summer action film. Because the film only believes in going big, it's an overstuffed ending as well. It ultimately feels like the horror equivalent of a large FX-driven tentpole film, which rarely results in tension or scares. I give it 2 out of 5 crossbones.